Hello everyone, welcome to the new class of biology. In today's class, we will discuss a few members which are coming under the kingdom Protista. So what comes under, mainly what are the organisms that come under kingdom Protista? All types of single-celled eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, we know, those organisms which have a covering over their nuclear membrane. Those organisms which have covering over their nuclear membrane are known as eukaryotes. Even human beings are also eukaryotes. Okay, single-celled eukaryotes basically come under the category of Protista. In the previous class, we discussed about kingdom Monera. In kingdom Monera, if we just see, we have discussed about kingdom Monera. Actually, kingdom Monera, the sole member of kingdom Monera is only bacteria. None other than bacteria comes in the under the category of kingdom Monera. Similarly, kingdom Protista, all types of single-celled organisms come under the category of kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista, the members are mainly aquatic organisms. Mainly aquatic organisms. Means definitely they are found in fresh water or in marine conditions, right? Some of them might have flagella or also cilia. Flagella or cilia, we know it is useful for the movement. Some of them reproduce asexually, means single parent is only used. Some of them reproduce sexually with the help of cell fusion and zygote formation. Sexual reproduction occurs in their case by the formation of zygote, and that zygote helps into the development of next species of organism. Okay, and that's some introduction about Protista kingdom. Today's class, we will discuss three types of organisms that can come under kingdom Protista. Actually, in total, there are 5 organisms that come under this Protista kingdom category. So we are well aware that in total there are 5 kingdoms on the basis of the classification done by R.H. Whittaker. The first one being kingdom Monera that we had studied earlier. This one, kingdom Protista. Next will be kingdom Fungi. We will be discussing both these kingdoms in our this present chapter. Also, we will discuss about kingdom Plantae and Animalia in the coming chapters. Okay, now just let's discuss about the first category of kingdom. The first type of eukaryotic single-celled organism that comes under kingdom Protista. So, the first category is actually chrysophytes. Chrysophytes are nothing but those group of organisms which are included, which mainly includes the diatoms and as well as the golden algae. These two category of microorganisms come under chrysophytes. A name diatom doesn't mean that that organism has 2 atoms. It is known by that name because there are some specific reasons. We will discuss that. These organisms are mainly found in fresh water as well as in the marine water. Fresh water means in pond, lakes, rivers. Marine regions mean in oceans or in seas. And most of these organisms that come under chrysophytes are photosynthetic organisms. Okay. Diatoms, if we discuss, they have some specific cell walls which are actually formed by the overlapping of two shells. Two shells when overlap each other, that form diatoms with the cell wall if it is formed. So what happens to these cell walls? Suppose these diatoms die, then these cell walls, when after the death of these diatoms, get accumulated deep inside we said it is found in marine and freshwater. It accumulates deep inside the water or whichever habitat it is staying, and if it stays in the earth for about billions of years, Then, because of the presence of its diatoms, the Earth could be known by the name diatomaceous Earth. Okay, means we can say these organisms were present for billions of years in our ecosystem. They have been here since billions of years, and their accumulation made to form the Earth as a name, diatomaceous Earth. We said they are photosynthetic organisms. Photosynthetic organisms are producers of food, like plants. Plants are food producers, right? Similarly, these diatoms are producers in the ocean. Means they produce food for organisms in the ocean, especially for small fishes. They that depend upon the smaller plants in the water, in the deep marine water. Okay, so that's about chrysophytes. The next category is dinoflagellate. First one was chrysophyte. Second one is dinoflagellate. Do not make its resemblance with dinosaurs. It doesn't have any resemblance with it. Dinoflagellates are marine actually. Also, they are photosynthetic also, just like we discussed about chrysophytes. Most of the organisms and that come under dinoflagellate are actually possessing two flagella. And because of the presence of two flagella, they could be known by that name, dinoflagellates, but that could not be the reason. They have two flagella, that's all. Dinoflagellate are the main reason for appearance of some of the seas or the sea tide to be red, because this dinoflagellate, when they multiply or reproduce very fastly in the marine conditions, so sometimes what happens, the sea becomes red because of the presence of these red dinoflagellates. They possess several type of colors. Sometimes they possess green, sometimes they possess blue, sometimes or any other color. It depends upon which habitat are they surviving. So suppose if there are red dinoflagellates and if they reproduce very fastly, then the sea or the marine area wherever they live appears to be red. So one of the examples of this organism is Goniolax. It's a scientific name. We have studied that if we write a scientific name, we will underline that name. So since it's a scientific name, we write it as Goniolax. Which part of scientific name has been written here? Can anyone say? Is it a genus name or a species name? Definitely it's a genus name, because species name is always written in a small letter. Next category of organisms that come under kingdom Protista are euglenoids. Okay. So what does these euglenoids do? These euglenoids are also freshwater organisms, just like we discussed that Protista are mainly many of the Protista are freshwater and some are marine. These are actually freshwater organisms, euglenoids, but they stay in stagnant water. Stagnant water means the water that stays at a particular area. Stays means in the sense it doesn't flow from one place to another. That is what is known as the stagnant water. So stagnant water, euglenoids are actually present in stagnant water in case of a freshwater organism. They have a flexible body, and it's because of the presence of a protein-like structure known as pellicle. Actually, euglenoids do not have cell wall, just like chrysophytes or dinoflagellates. They do not have cell wall, but their body is covered with a protein-like structure which is known as pellicle, and this pellicle makes their body flexible. We discussed about chrysophytes. They were autotrophic organisms. They were producers. We discussed about dinoflagellates. They were also photosynthetic. Euglenoids are also photosynthetic organisms. But photosynthesis, as we know, occurs only in the presence of sunlight. In case of euglenoids, they act as both autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs in the sense when there is sunlight, they act as autotrophs. Heterotrophs means in the sense if there is no sunlight, they act as organisms which depend upon other smaller organisms for the food. So, euglenoids are one among the Protista category organisms that can come under the category of autotrophs as well as heterotrophs. Okay. They also have two flagella present on their body. One of the examples of euglenoids are euglena. 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 Okay. In next class, we will discuss about the remaining two types of Protista. One being the slime molds, the second one being the protozoans. Okay, that's all about today's class. Thank you. Have a nice day.